What's up, everybody? I am back. It's been a while. I know I just had so many things to do. I had so little time to myself, but here I am, finally back with you all. But let's just get right into it because there's a lot of things to go into. Um, Especially since the first round of the playoffs are officially over. Let's start with the very first thing. The final series of round one finally finished yesterday around noon. Clippers defeated the Mavericks. Hard fought series, but the Clippers managed to pull it off. I will say, had I spoken to you all, I would have been nervous when the Clippers went down 0-2 to the Mavericks. Luka was just unstoppable. No defender could have stopped him. Kawhi was on him. Paul George was on him. Nobody was able to put out his flames. So, of course, I was nervous. Yeah, rightfully so. But I never jumped ship. So many Clippers fans were just calling it a season already. They said, you know what? I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Kawhi Leonard is leaving, and as the stories go. But they managed to bounce it back even after being down 3-2 once again, and then just tying it up 3-3, and then ultimately taking game 7 in a convincing manner. Um, I want to point out with this series, the Clippers got lucky. Porzingis was never uh, a superstar. Of course, he's an all-star one time, and he's been projected to be the next Dirk Nowitzki, the next best European player, but he has not been that all year, even last year. He was pretty solid in the playoffs last year when he played, 2 games against the Clippers in the bubble, but it has not looked good for Kristaps Porzingis. I would bet that the Mavericks are going to try to deal him, but Mark Cuban doesn't just quit on players willy nilly. He likes to keep a firm ground on what he believes in. I think he's going to give Porzingis maybe until the trade deadline and just tell his office to let him go because Mark Cuban is a businessman. If you can't satisfy him, then he will make business moves. That's what I believe in. And the Mavericks should be looking to take care of Luka Doncic and keeping him happy. Otherwise, he's gonna be gone once he gets the opportunity to leave. The Clippers have to face the Utah Jazz. I like this matchup personally. A lot of people are picking the Utah Jazz because they're so much better than the Mavericks, and the Clippers are proven, or are not proven to be able to perform so well for a long period of time in the playoffs. But I think this matchup is in favor of the Clippers. Now, yes, of course, the Jazz have Rudy Gobert. He's gonna limit Kawhi Leonard's mid-range game. Paul George may not drive so much against them this series, but here's what I think: Clippers small ball, or a lot of people are calling it small ball because the Clippers lineup of small ball isn't really too short. They pulled it off. What is it? Batum, Morris, those guys do solid as the bigs for the Clippers. They slash, they hit their shots, they're smart, and they defend well. I have a feeling that they're going to expose Rudy Gobert for not being able to defend in the perimeter, and it's going to cost the Utah Jazz a lot. And here's another reason why the Clippers will dominate against the Jazz. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, obviously, they guard the perimeter. That's their thing. And Donovan Mitchell, he's something special, but something about Donovan Mitchell and Luka Doncic. Donovan Mitchell is not the shooter Luka Doncic is. He does not have the size and, to an extent, the strength of Luka Doncic. So that's why I am picking Kawhi and Paul George to slow down Donovan Mitchell. He may not be initially covered by those two in the beginning of any game or of the series, probably. But I feel when Ty Lue demands that those two guard Donovan Mitchell, he's gonna flame out. He's not gonna be able to score so easily because he doesn't have the size that George and Leonard do, and we all know in basketball, size is everything. So that's why I got the Clippers in. Hear me out. 5. You're gonna say I'm crazy for this, but I think it's gonna be a gentleman's sweep. The Clippers, they only have one rest day in between their game 7 and game 1 of the second round. I think they're gonna throw away game 1. It's just gonna be like, all right, let's just play, just because it's scheduled. Let's just try to win, in the sense that let's just chuck up shots. Let's just hope Utah misses, and let's rest Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and not play them more than 35 minutes. That's what I think. Uh, I think it would be smart. You've had a little bit of rest your starters, let them play 100% in game 2. Just throw away game 1. Game 1 is a wash. Let the reserves play, let the bench prove themselves, let the bench kind of figure out how they're going to play in the future, in future games, and just just go on a trial. That's what I think Ty Lue should do. uh, is it foolish? I guess to an extent it may be, but I don't think it's gonna be wrong coming down in the end of the series. So I ultimately take the Clippers in 5. The game 1 will be a wash, and they'll win 4 straight. That's what I think. But I do have a thought that the Jazz aren't gonna back down so easily. I mean, they are the number 1 seed. Uh, they're gonna have at least 1 or 2 nights where they're gonna hit their shots, and the Clippers, they could, if they have the confidence, but it could go to 6. Clippers in 6. I must stick for right now to my pick. Clippers in 5. Now, on to the Lakers. Here's what I have to say about the Lakers. They were awful even since last year without Bron and A. Disney. Because, look, Rondo, Howard, who else? Who else was really good in that team? Was anyone else really good in that team? I don't think so. Kyle Kuzma's, I don't think he's as great as a lot of Laker fans think he is. The next Kobe, the next good superstar, he's not shown that. He has his bursts, but he's, coincidentally, why does he keep having his good games against bad defensive teams, or when his matchup is so small? I mean, Kuzma, did you see him game 6? Did you see him game 5? Absolutely awful. I have the luxury of watching Kuzma drive on, who was it? I think it was Jay Crowder or Mikal Bridges, where he goes in and he throws a left hook that was maybe a shot, maybe a pass to LeBron. LeBron wasn't even in a position to catch such a lob. And you could just see LeBron's body language, just like, what was that, dude? Like, he didn't even bother running on defense. Kuzma embarrassingly had to run back on defense, because what kind of shot or pass was that? It's embarrassing. And I see a lot of LeBron slander. Here's what I'm going to say about all that. Yes, LeBron is the greatest player on earth. Yes, he should have had a better stat line. But you know what his stat lines should look like on a day that he performs well? I'll give you some. 34 points, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 9 rebounds. And let me tell you something, 12, 14, 15 assists. That's what a type of player, that's a type of stat line a player like LeBron is going to give you. That in itself is a lot. And a player like that, he needs a team to get the weight off of him. Because I don't know how many of you have seen the stat lines for anyone that's not named Bron. Every single guy, their shot percentage below 30%. You can't win games as a team if you're going to be shooting less than 30%. And I'm not even talking about three-point percentages. I mean from anywhere on the floor. I don't know what the free throw percentages were, but I can't imagine they were often anyway, because 30% field goal from every single player. What was it? I think the Lakers played 7 or 8 players outside of just AD, Bron. Yeah, that's not gonna sit right. And that's a shot chart from the whole series. They were not good whatsoever. At least last year, KCP, J.R. Smith, Rondo, they were all hitting shots. This year, not a single soul on that team was playing hard and hitting their shots. You're not going to win games not hitting your shots. Just ask the Clippers. Batum, when he was cold, Morris, when he was cold, they were not winning games. So now we move on to the Bucks and Brooklyn series. Bucks, I thought they were going to have it. They were looking good. They were getting the shots they wanted. What's his name? Brook Lopez dominating inside the paint with his offensive rebounding. He was getting beautiful touches, and he was really, really smart on the inside. Giannis, y'all know I don't like him, but he was hitting his stride. He was strong. He finished strong, and he got his points. My only question is, why didn't he play more? I don't understand why Budenholzer didn't play him much. It's game one. You're away. And you're right up there with Brooklyn in scoring. I mean, yeah, well, overall scoring, not team by team. But you're up there. And then you blow it, losing, I guess, by a point, 16 points. Then you somehow bring it back within 7 in garbage time, but that's beside the point. I think Budenholzer should have played Giannis way more, because Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, they were not getting anything going. They weren't hitting anything. They weren't ISO. They weren't hitting jump shots, catch and shoots, nothing. And the supporting cast wasn't doing anything either. The only thing that was going well for them was defending. And, you know, when you're defending and then Kyrie and Durant aren't hitting their shots, that's when you should take advantage and just use Giannis. I'm telling you, I don't like Giannis. But if you're going to win the game, you got to put him in. He obviously is a threat in the paint. And then he'll give plenty of space to Middleton and Holiday, who were probably gassed by the time the fourth quarter came around, because that's when things really got out of hand for Milwaukee. And that's all I got for you guys today. I know the video went pretty long, but I had a lot to say about the Clippers and the Lakers series. Anyway, tonight is a few more games going on. I have both the Suns taking out Denver in game 1. That's going to be a good series, but I got Phoenix taking this one. Hopefully Chris Paul has a good stat line. Devin Booker still don't like him. And hopefully Chris Paul outperforms him, because I'm a big fan of Chris Paul. You should all know that. And then Brooklyn and Milwaukee. Game 2. I'm going to just play it safe. I think Brooklyn is going to take this one again. And then Milwaukee's going to win game 3 on the next one. I'm going to just play it safe right now. I think that's what's going to happen. Tonight I got Phoenix. I got Brooklyn. Of course, hopefully Brooklyn has a bad shooting night. That way the Milwaukee Bucks at least have a shot at this again. And I'm sorry, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll be in touch. Don't forget to follow my Twitter at @ereyesparron. And yeah. Have a good night. Have a good time watching the game. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.